If you're watching this video, I have a special treat for you. I'm gonna drop 5 distinct gems on starting your freelance business, your side hustle, your cash machine. They're pretty easy to implement, but you gotta stay tuned watching the whole video to get every single nugget. Okay, welcome back to this special edition of My Hair plus Foundr's platform. So let's talk about these top 5 tips to start your side hustle, your freelance business. I'm Daniel DiPiazza. I'm the lead instructor at Start Your Side Hustle, which is a beautiful new course Foundr magazine has put out. And in this program, we're teaching all about how to take a business, or how to take a skill rather, and turn it into a business, and how to make that into something that is profitable and can make you a little bit extra with your day job, or completely support you if that's what you want. Now, there are things you need to know before you start this journey. And so I figured, well, let's just drop them here. And the first piece of this is you really have to basically understand what your skill is and either develop that skill or make sure that it matches with what the market needs. You have to develop not just a skill, but a valuable skill. So for instance, I'll ask people, I'll say, well, let's start your business idea brainstorming. What are you good at? And they'll say, well, I'm really good at talking to people and comforting them. These are all great. These are all descriptors of yourself. I'm really good at being patient. Those are all great descriptors, but they're not skills. So just start to define what a skill is. A skill is basically a service or an action that you can provide for someone that has a market value on it. If I run a dry cleaning shop and you take your clothes to me and I provide you dry cleaning of your clothes, I'm providing a service in exchange for money. And that service includes time and cleaning agents and some other labor costs. Then the next piece of this rule is, well, if you don't have a developed skill that is good for the marketplace, develop one. If you're seeing this right now, it was edited by someone who was being paid most likely as a contractor to do the edits so that you'd be interested in this video. And that's something that you could learn to do if you got that skill set. So develop your skill set, and it might take you time, which is why this is a side hustle. So come in with a developed skill set or develop one along the way. You don't have to be the complete and total expert before you start taking on clients and customers, but what you do need is a devotion to the development of that skill set to progress yourself over time, and you will become an expert. Now, the second element of this is that, well, really, you should go out and do some free work. The first piece is identifying what the skill is or developing that skill. The second piece is, honestly, you should be doing some free work ASAP. And really that's just because it's the way to further develop and hone your skills. This is something that you have to understand because, a lot of times when we think of business, we're thinking, well, I want to get paid for all the work that I do. And that's the hustler's mentality. I'm not mad at that. But you also have to realize that there are different types of value you can get. And some value is transferable. There are different types of currency. So for instance, you are behind the camera of this shoot right now. And we're shooting this video, and maybe you're not going to charge me for it. You've already kind of done the calculations in your head. You know that this is an investment that you're making. Well, guess what? Your investment in us doing this work together would result in my investment in you, if not with money, with my time of giving you a testimonial and a case study. It's not something to be ashamed of, it's actually something to be taken advantage of. Under promise and over deliver. You want to make sure that what you promise to others, you can actually deliver it. And a lot of times when we want to do great work for people, we will over promise and under deliver. That looks like you really wanting to work with a client and them asking you to work on a project with them. And you say, okay, I understand what it is you want to accomplish, and I can get that done in, 4 weeks. You tell them it would be a 4-week project. Now, 4 weeks might be the quickest you can get it done, and you're pretty confident that you can get it done in 4 weeks. You've done it before, you're pretty sure you can do it again. But what happens if you tell them 4 weeks and it takes you 5 weeks? Well, now you're late. And it wasn't because you weren't doing the project well, that the work wasn't quality, but because you set the expectation of 4 weeks and it took you 5, they have the perception of you being late. It's not just about what you say, it's about what you show. You could take that same project and say, all right, well, I'm pretty sure this is gonna take me, I could do it in 4 weeks, but I'm gonna say it's gonna take me 6 to 7 weeks and give myself that buffer. And guess what? If you say 6 or 7 weeks and it takes you 4 weeks or even 5 weeks, so it actually looks like you're over delivering, even though you're not. You just set the perception of how long it would take, and then you over delivered on that. So you essentially under promised what you could do, and then you over delivered. You know, the fourth thing around this is really understanding that case studies are worth their weight in gold. One of my friends, Mark, came over and he has 2 kids, and he pulled up in his new Tesla X. And you know, he's a British guy. He's like, oh, hey mate, you gotta check out my new Tesla X. It's so great, man. I'm like mixing Australian and British now. You gotta test out my new Tesla X. It's so great, mate. And I'm like, oh yeah, let me check it out. And like at that time, I hadn't even had a car in a while because I was sick of making car payments. I didn't really want to, you know, I was in LA. I just was like, I want to just Uber when I can and walk everywhere else. I wasn't convinced about getting a car. And then he comes over and he's showing me all the cool features of this new Tesla. And I'm like, well, I haven't had a car in a couple of years. But then Mark freaking Dama comes over. And like 6 weeks later, I bought a Tesla. And that's like a $60,000 purchase, you know? It's like, I can't believe the power of social suggestion and social proof. And I called him, I said, you bastard. And he's like, can you please use my affiliate link for the car? I said, no, I'm not giving you the satisfaction of making money off this purchase. But it just blew my mind about how much social credibility really plays a role in the buying decisions we make. You know, like, you know, my friend started telling me a couple years ago, buy Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, sure, right away, sir. You know, I won't question it because I figure if someone has my best interest in mind, if I really trust them over the years, then I'll just listen to them. And that's why Amazon has reviews, and that's why typically we'll gravitate towards the things that have the best reviews. So social proof is huge. When you're doing your free work and you're setting your boundaries by under-promising and over-delivering, you're setting yourself up for great customer reviews and testimonials. And I want you to milk that stuff too. When you're setting these things up, there are a couple of things you can do. If you're gonna do free work, one thing you can ask for in exchange for that free work is you can say, hey, you know, I'm gonna do this for free for you, and I'm gonna do great quality work. I'm gonna do it at the highest level, just like if I was charging you. And at the end, all that I ask is if you had a great experience, just recommend me to two or three people who you think might benefit from this. Man, you do not know how much business I've gotten from that simple ask. So that's the next thing, you know, understanding that case studies, referrals, social proof, direct references from friends are the most valuable currency you can have that are worth their weight in gold. And the last tip, and bringing you through this, okay, I know it's a lot of information, I'm talking a lot, you're hopefully writing down notes, you're internalizing this, but the last piece of this really is don't be afraid to raise your rates. You gotta know this when you're starting. Your rates start at one place and they end up hopefully at another place. When I started doing SAT and ACT test prep as my first real side hustle where I was taking my destiny into my own hands, I started at a rate that was only slightly higher than I was getting paid when I was working for another company. I was getting paid $18 an hour when I was working for Kaplan, and then when I went on my own, I started charging $25 an hour. And I thought, I really got one over on the man here. They were only charging me $18 there, and now I get $25. Yeah, bingo, jackpot. I can't be afraid to push these rates up. Why? One, I gotta look out for numero uno. Okay, what do they say in the plane? Put your own oxygen mask on first. If you can't support yourself, you can't do all the work you've been thinking of. If you look at the actual numbers of how much things cost, you realize you're probably spending a lot more to produce whatever it is you're making for your client than you think. Whether it's like physical things you need to be buying as part of the job, whether it's time you're spending creating assets for them, whether it's time and money you're spending getting to their location, all these different things, these costs of doing business have to be factored in to what your rates are. And those rates should be going up not only to address inflation, but to address you also improving the product, because you want to be able to provide a better service. The better service allows you to stay at the head of the curve. So learn to charge what you're worth. And if you can't start with what you know you're worth, start where you feel comfortable with the absolute intent to raise those rates, and set milestones on yourself for time or for achievement where you will raise those rates. But these are the framework and the core behind really everything we teach at Foundr and everything you need to know to get started. So I hope that these were some major value bombs for you. Drop some comments below. I want to hear what your questions are. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, check out my free class. It's a masterclass with Foundr that goes really deep into how to create these side hustles from scratch, from a dead stop. And you know, if you can see what I've done here, you can just imagine what you get on that masterclass. So enjoy it. I'll talk to you soon. Catch you next time.
Hey guys, hope you're loving our videos and that you're getting heaps of value from them. If you are, make sure to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to join the Foundr fam. If you did enjoy this video and want to continue to master your skills, make sure you click here to access your free training now, where we'll go into way more depth with this Foundr.